What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're doing week 1 predictions for the 2018 through 2019 NFL season. Football is finally back. I didn't even realize it until today, Tuesday, and I was like, whoa, I have to start making my week 1 predictions now. It feels so weird that football is finally back. It honestly doesn't feel like time has gone by that much. Of course, you know, everybody's still scratching and itching for the football season to start during the offseason, but we've had a pretty eventful offseason so far, one of the more memorable ones. So it's like football never really left, but now we get some actual football. The stats matter, the plays matter, everything matters. So let's get right into the predictions. So if you're new to my NFL predictions, I'm going to be going through all the NFL games, give you a little kind of preview on it, I guess. Not going to spend too much time on each game. If you guys are Giants fans in particular, I am going to be making a video separately on that, so I won't be talking about the Giants too much in this video. But, you know, I'll be doing a New York Giants versus Jacksonville Jaguars preview video probably either today or tomorrow. So I'm going to be going through every game. I'm going to give you a score prediction, who I think is going to win, and also a spread prediction for any of you guys doing any betting lines and stuff like that, any of you guys betting. So anyway, let's get right into it. We're going to start off with Thursday Night Football. We've got the Eagles versus the Falcons. Now the Falcons are pretty much, I guess they've upgraded. I don't really see that they've upgraded that much. I think their team is relatively the same, but don't forget they did add Calvin Ridley, and as far as I know right now, he's healthy. So Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Mohamed Sanu, that's going to be one of the better trios in the NFL, and plus you got Matty Ice throwing the ball. So I'm pretty high on the Falcons this year. Not Super Bowl contenders, but I'm definitely high on the Falcons this year. And then you look at the Eagles, who are coming back with some healthy corners. You guys know Sidney Jones is healthy now, and he's, you know, highly regarded, you know, coming out of college, and, you know, he messed up his leg. I think he tore his ACL. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I think he tore his ACL, and then he wasn't able to play. And now he's coming back, and now he's able to play, and now they've got, I believe they've got the young corner Jalen Mills still. They don't have Patrick Robinson anymore. So I don't know. Oh, they do have, I think, Avante Maddox, if I'm saying his name correctly. I don't know how well he did in the preseason, but I liked him coming out of college, so let's see how he does. But as far as the Eagles go right now, and don't forget the Eagles are starting Nick Foles because Carson Wentz is not 100% just yet, which is kind of unfortunate because I hate the Eagles with everything in my soul, but I do like Carson Wentz. So it's kind of disappointing not to see Carson Wentz start week 1, but he's not healthy. So Nick Foles, former Super Bowl MVP, former Super Bowl champion of last year, is going to be getting another start in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. So even though Nick Foles is a backup, and usually when it comes to these backup QBs, you know, you have the other team winning, but Nick Foles is not just any backup. Let's see if he does well, because this preseason wasn't the best for him, but it's just a preseason. So I'm going to have Nick Foles pulling out the victory here against the Atlanta Falcons, but do not sleep on the Falcons. This can go any way, any which way. But I have the Eagles winning here at home 23-20. We move on to the 1 o'clock games. We've got the Steelers versus the Browns, and Pittsburgh is favored by 3.5 points. Now, I know this is a little bit of, I guess, I'm drinking the Cleveland Kool-Aid. I'm not going to have Cleveland winning, but I am going to have the Steelers. I'm going to have the Steelers winning and Cleveland covering the 3.5 point spread. I know it's a small spread, especially when it comes to Cleveland versus Pittsburgh. But remember, Cleveland sometimes is able to compete with Pittsburgh and kind of lose by 3 points. And I think this would be one of those cases, especially how good the Cleveland Browns are looking right now. In the preseason, they've actually looked pretty good. I know they've had some weird games, like, you know, against the Philadelphia Eagles. They won like 5-0, but still the Cleveland Browns are looking pretty good. Baker Mayfield is looking good, but I know he's not going to start. I get that. Tyrod Taylor is going to start, and Tyrod Taylor himself is looking pretty good. You know, it's going to be very, very challenging for Hugh Jackson to decide moving forward in the coming weeks, in the coming seasons, who's going to be that starter, Tyrod Taylor or Baker Mayfield. But right now it's Tyrod Taylor, obviously. So when it comes to the Steelers versus the Browns, I'm going to have the Steelers putting out the victory, but Cleveland covering the spread 24-21. Cleveland plus 3.5. By the way, Philadelphia -2, if I didn't say that already. The Bengals at the Colts. We have Andy Dalton versus Andrew Luck. Now, Andrew Luck is back, and that adds a whole new element to the Indianapolis Colts, because without him, with Jacoby Brissett starting, that team is no good. It's completely garbage, and Bengals would have been pulling out an easy victory here, even though I'm not so high on the Bengals this year. So with Andrew Luck coming back, I don't know if he's going to be 100% like the old vintage Andrew Luck, because remember, he took a whole year off of football and a little bit more, like a year and a half off of football, so he's going to be coming back a little rusty. I heard that he played pretty decent in the preseason. Haven't really looked into the Colts as much as I probably should with Andrew Luck coming back, but Andrew Luck is Andrew Luck. If he was healthy, if he played at least like 14 games a season, he would be top 5 in the NFL as far as quarterbacks go, without a doubt. So Andrew Luck is definitely one of the better quarterbacks of this era, and I definitely have the confidence in him, and I think he could pull out the victory here against the Cincinnati Bengals at home. I'm going to have the Colts pulling out the victory 23-16. Take Indianapolis -3. We now move on to the Titans versus the Dolphins. Ryan Tannehill is coming back from his injury. I don't think that's going to matter very much. I think the Titans are looking really good this year. On top of that, little morale boost with that uniform swag they got on. Those uniforms are probably the best looking uniforms I've ever seen in my life. I honestly would love to play for the Tennessee Titans just to wear those uniforms. But I'm going to have the Tennessee Titans pulling out this victory 27-21. Take Tennessee -1.5. The 49ers at the Vikings. This one's very, very interesting because there's a big storyline, I guess, coming into this game that probably nobody's really noticing. If you guys notice, Kirk Cousins is with the Minnesota Vikings right now. Especially, I just thought about this just now, but Kirk Cousins was supposed to go to the 49ers like everybody was saying. Now he's facing them week 1 after he decided to go to Minneapolis, Minnesota. And then you got Jimmy Garoppolo for the 49ers, the quarterback for the 49ers. And remember, Jimmy Garoppolo, in every one of his starts, he's won those games. He is going to be starting against the Minnesota Vikings. Will this be his first loss as a starter? This may be the day. That Sunday may be the day, because Minnesota, their defense has not lost a step. They haven't lost any players that it's really... I don't think they lost pretty much anybody from the Vikings, as far as I think Brian Robinson is pretty much the only guy they lost on that defense that's really crucial to the defense success. And then their offense, their offense is ridiculous. In the backfield, you got Dalvin Cook, you got Kirk Cousins at quarterback. Granted, your offensive line is pretty terrible. It's one of the worst offensive lines in the league, but you got to have weaknesses somewhere, I guess. Wide receivers, Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs. And then, like I said, you got Kirk Cousins. You got Kyle Rudolph at tight end. And, that offense and that defense is just so balanced. That's just one of the more balanced teams in the NFL right now. And then you got the 49ers, who was, with the rise of Jimmy Garoppolo, he single-handedly led that team to a 7-9 record last year. Do you think now, with a whole season behind him, with a whole season to work with, do you think that he's going to make a playoff push with the 49ers? When is it gonna be his first loss as a starter? Because right now, I believe he's like, what is he, 8-0 as a starter in the NFL right now. So he's had some games to prove himself, and I think people are starting to notice that. So Jimmy Garoppolo, will this be his first loss? I think so, but I think it's going to be closer than people think. I know the 49ers, when you think about the 49ers, you don't think of them as very good anymore. But I have the 49ers keeping a close game with the Minnesota Vikings, 26-22. I'm going to take San Francisco plus the 6. Texans at the Patriots. Now, I know that this may be a blowout, but if you guys seen in recent history, the Texans actually play the Patriots pretty close. If not, they almost come close to beating the Patriots. If not, I think they beat them in the past couple years. Not recently, but I think probably like 3 years ago, I think I seen that it was a shocker. But anyway, I think that's probably my brain just messing with me, some Mandela effect. But anyway, the Patriots, I have them keeping it close with the Texans. Remember, they got Deshaun Watson back, and Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins just have that chemistry, man. And then you got Deontay Foreman in the backfield, Lamar Miller, a decent offensive line. It's not anything crazy. You added the Honey Badger in that defense. So I'm really looking forward to the Texans, seeing what they're going to be doing this year. You never know if they're just going to be the same old 7-9 Texans, or if they're finally going to make a decent playoff push. 7-9 to 9-7 is really what they do every single year ever since Bill O'Brien got to the Texans. So it's either being like a 7-9 or 9-7 season. So will the Texans pull off this victory? It can happen. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, but I don't think it's going to happen in this case. Deshaun Watson is going to come back. I think he's going to do pretty well and pick up where he left off right before his injury of last year that kept him away from Rookie of the Year. So I have the Patriots winning 28-24. Take Houston plus 6.5. The Buccaneers at the Saints. Jameis Winston is suspended right now. That means Ryan Fitzmagic is going to be getting a start. And if you guys notice, every team he's played with as a backup role, he always has a chance to start. So that's just his magic working right there. But Fitzmagic is not going to have a very good day against the Saints. The Saints are just a different team from the past couple years. They're just a better team. They're the same team offensively, but with a great defense. That defense hasn't lost a step. I don't think so. And I know that they made some moves in the offseason to keep that defense where it should be. So I had the Saints pulling off a pretty easy victory here against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 31-13. Take New Orleans minus the big spread of 9.5. Now we have the Bills at the Ravens. Now, I'm not very high on the Bills, and I'm not very high on the Ravens, so I don't think this is going to be a very good game to watch because, we got Nathan Peterman starting, and you got Joe Flacco, and I'm not really big on Joe Flacco except when he's in the playoffs, and then I'm not too high on, the defense for the Bills is pretty good. The Ravens defense is pretty good, but I'm just not seeing too much in this game, so I'm going to have the Ravens pulling out a boring victory, 17-13. Take Buffalo plus the 7. The Chiefs at the Chargers. Now the Chiefs are looking really good offensively. They could be a top 10 to top 5 offense in the NFL, but their defense could be bottom 5 in the NFL. Their defense just doesn't look good. A bunch of old guys on that roster, a bunch of inexperienced guys on that roster, a bunch of guys that pretty much should be in backup roles that is starting. So I'm not very high on this Kansas City defense. So, they could get balled on by Phillip Rivers and his good offense. And remember, the Chargers defense is looking really good with the addition of Derwin James. And you got guys like Joey Bosa and like Melvin Ingram. And you got, I think Jason Verrett's out for the year, unfortunately. But you got a bunch of guys on that defense as well. And I think the Chargers are going to be a little too much for the Chiefs to handle here in week 1, so I'm going to have the Chargers winning 23-16. We move on now to the Seahawks versus the Broncos, a Super Bowl rematch, and it's not going to be anywhere close to how that game was. In fact, I don't think these two teams are really going to make they're not going to make the playoffs. Both of these teams aren't going to make the playoffs this year, so I'm really not looking forward to this game as much as, if this was 3 years ago, I think you would be, but not right now. The Seahawks, I'll have them losing here against the Broncos, 17-13. Take Denver minus 3, and it's just really unfortunate how the Seahawks just lost everybody on that defense, and that offense isn't getting any better. Russell Wilson probably going to be the only guy keeping that thing together, so as every year is. So that offensive line still hasn't gotten any better. But here against the we got the Redskins at the Cardinals. Now, David Johnson is back. Let's all remember that. He's just adds a whole nother element to the Cardinals game. He's the best running back in the league, in my opinion. So, with David Johnson there, I know they're going to open up the passing game because of him being there. Everybody's going to be stacking the box against the run. The Redskins aren't going to handle that too much. And Alex Smith, I don't know how well he's going to do at Washington. He doesn't have very much weapons to work with. I don't think so. I don't think he has very many weapons to work with. I know you got Josh Doxson there. Then you got Chris Thompson. And you got a decent offensive line. And I mean, you got some stuff to work with. You actually got some good players. Now that I think about it, you got some good players to work with. But I just don't think that the Redskins are going to pull out this victory here against the Cardinals. 27-19. I'll have Arizona pulling out the victory. Take Arizona -1. The Cowboys at the Panthers. The Cowboys. You know what? Defensively, I don't really think they've changed much. I know they got Leighton Vander Esch, and I know I wasn't very high on Leighton Vander Esch, but he could be another Sean Lee eventually. We'll see what happens with him. And then, Dak Prescott is Dak Prescott, of course. Ezekiel Elliott's probably going to light it up. We'll see what happens. The Panthers struggled last year against the run, so let's see if they change that this year. Maybe that would be the only thing keeping the Cowboys in this game, Ezekiel Elliott. But I'll have the Panthers winning this game 26-20. Take the Panthers -3. And I think I skipped out on a team, and that's my team. But the Jacksonville Jaguars at the New York Giants, I believe. I think the Giants are at home. Let me check that. Alright, so I accidentally skipped out on my own team. But the Jacksonville Jaguars are favored by 3 on the road against the New York Giants. And you know what, I'm very confident in the Giants this year, but I think this is just one of those games we're going to drop just because of the Jaguars being a very good team. And I know, I do have confidence in the Giants this year. I think they could make a playoff push. I like their roster this year. But the Jacksonville Jaguars are just, like I said, I'm very high on the Jaguars this year. If it wasn't for Blake Bortles, that team is a lock to go to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to have the Jaguars pulling out a victory here. I could have sworn I wrote it down, but I guess not. I'm going to have the Jaguars pulling out the victory here. I'm going to say it's going to be a close game, 24-21. I'll have the score. The Giants will lose in their home opener against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'll make a preview about that soon. But yeah, I'm not going to say the Giants can't win this game, but I just don't think they will win this game. So moving on from that, we have Sunday Night Football. The Bears at the Packers. And I know a lot of people may throw this game away like the Bears are no good, but listen, watch this game. The Bears, and first of all, the Packers are coming with a revamped defense. I like what they did on defense in the draft and in free agency. They brought in Muhammad Wilkerson. They've got young guys in that defensive back room. Kevin King's coming back for his second year, and you got those 2 great corners, first-round pick corners in Josh Jackson and Jair Alexander. I'm very, very high on those 2 players, and the fact that they're on the same team together is very motivating for the Green Bay Packers. So the Green Bay Packers just with some cornerbacks, and that's pretty much all they needed. That's what I said last year. They will be an even better team if they had some kind of good corners, and they got 3 decent corners there now. I know Kevin King struggled last year, but I think he'll come back and do well. And then you got Aaron Rodgers, of course. He's Aaron Rodgers. So the Green Bay Packers are coming back and hoping to make a playoff push. But the Bears are gonna be in their way week 1. The Bears are defensively. It's looking pretty scary right now. You guys, I'm sure you guys know that Khalil Mack is now on the Chicago Bears. Pretty sure he's gonna be playing week 1. You got Leonard Floyd there, who used to be their #1 pass rusher. Now they got 2 great pass rushers there for the Chicago Bears. You got two good middle linebackers in Danny Trevathan, Roquan Smith. You got Akeem Hicks. You've got a decent secondary with Adrian Amos, with Eddie Jackson, with Kyle Fuller. I think Prince Amukamara is still there, and so you got a pretty good defense there. I believe Eddie Goldman is still there. So, don't sleep on the Chicago defense this year. Do not sleep on the Chicago defense this year. Mitchell Trubisky, he is the big question. Is he going to progress from last year? I know last year wasn't the best rookie year you can ask for your quarterback, but will he put on some kind of show here against their arch rivals and one of the biggest rivalries in the NFL in the Green Bay Packers. We'll have to see about that Sunday Night Football, but I do think this is going to be a good game. The Bears and Packers rivalry has been slowly reaching up the charts as one of the better rivalries in the NFL. Just, you know, it's been a new spark has been lit now that the Chicago Bears are starting to get something going here, as far as getting a good roster going and getting the players to actually play well. So yeah, you got Jordan Howard there, a decent offensive line. So very excited. Allen Robinson is now with the Chicago Bears. So you guys, I mean, the Chicago Bears are very good all around as far as the roster goes. Let's just see if they all play together. They're very good on paper. Let's see how well they play together. Something like the Cleveland Browns as well. So I'm going to have the Packers winning it, but I'm going to have Chicago covering the spread. I'll have the Packers winning 28-23. Take Chicago plus 7.5. Monday Night Football, I've got the Jets at the Lions. Now, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Lions and Jets have played on several occasions when it comes to prime time. I don't know why. I don't know if there's any rivalry in this. It doesn't seem like there's any connections there. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they play on Monday Night Football quite a lot. And the Lions play on Monday Night Football a lot early in the season. I noticed that. We played them week 2, and I remember we played the Lions week 1 a couple years back too. The Lions play Monday Night Football a lot early in the season every year. So I don't wonder what's the whole deal with that. But the Jets, remember something. I know that Matthew Stafford is Matthew Stafford, and he's very underrated. I mean, Matthew Stafford is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. I don't know what you guys think about that, but Matthew Stafford is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. Very underrated, and I think finally, the Detroit Lions have a chance of having at least one of their runners be a 100-yard runner. It's gonna be the first time since 2013. I thought the Giants' running game was bad. Jesus Lord, the Detroit Lions have the worst luck when it comes to having running backs run for over 100 yards. But now they got LeGarrette Blount, they got the rookie Kerryon Johnson, they still have Amir Abdullah, so they have a chance to get a 100-yard runner. Let's see what happens there. I'm telling you, if you guys get yourself a decent, just not even a good run game, just a decent run game, you can have Matthew Stafford throw for plenty more yards, because that run game is going to help him open up plenty of more opportunities for him to throw. It's going to have less guys, less guys out there. It's going to bring more guys in the box, have less guys out there in the field. He's going to be able to throw more freely. So the Detroit Lions could make a huge push here in this season. We'll see what happens. It all depends on that running game. That defense is looking a lot better, so we'll see what happens there. But the Jets, remember that the Jets are a very scrappy team. If we learned anything from last year, we learned that the Jets are not going to win the games you want them to win, or win the games they should win, or they're not going to win the games that you don't think they're going to win anyway. But they're a very scrappy team. They do come close in these games, and they're going to make a little step forward. I know they haven't, in my opinion, I don't think they've really brought their game up a little bit. I think their draft wasn't very good, besides the Sam Darnold pick, and that's one thing that's going to keep the Jets in this game is Sam Darnold. He's been announced as the starter week 1. They traded Teddy B to the New Orleans Saints, so now he is a starter, and I don't think he's going to be a bad quarterback. I think he's going to be pretty good. We'll see how he does against Darius Slay and all these other guys on the Detroit defense. I'm very excited to see how Sam Darnold does. But I think the Jets will keep it scrappy. I think they'll stay in this game for most of it. So I'm going to have the Lions pulling out the victory here, but I'm going to have the Jets covering the spread, plus 6.5. The Lions 23-17. And then the next Monday Night Football game, the last game of Week 1 and the second game of the Monday Night Football thing here, we've got at 10:15 p.m. You guys got, if any of you guys working the next day, I feel bad for you that are Raider or Rams fans, but anyway, it's on the West Coast anyway, so you guys are like 4 hours behind anyway, so it doesn't matter to you guys. But I'm probably not going to stay up to watch the game. But we've got the Rams at the Raiders, and it's going to feel weird. I'm not going to lie, because I did not watch any preseason games for the Rams or for the Raiders, and so I haven't seen John Gruden in, you know, Oakland attire, but it's gonna look weird. See, it's gonna be looking like I'm watching film from 2000 or something like that, or 2001 with John Gruden with the Raiders. But it's gonna feel weird. It's gonna take some getting used to, and it's kind of a coincidence that he's playing in Monday Night Football, because he used to be a commentator for Monday Night Football. So it's gonna be pretty interesting there. But as far as the Raiders goes, and that's going to be the only thing interesting for the Raiders, because I don't think the Raiders are going to do anything in this game. The Rams are just too good. They're too talented. Aaron Donald's coming back. He just signed that major contract. He's going to be playing good. And the Rams are just going to be firing on all cylinders. They got Marcus Peters, Aqib Talib, Ndamukong Suh, Aaron Donald, Jared Goff's looking like a really decent quarterback. They've got themselves a good offense there. Cooper Kupp is really making himself known as probably the #1 target on that offense. Todd Gurley, you know how good Todd Gurley is. He's an MVP candidate. He's probably going to be one this year. So, I mean, the Rams are just stacked everywhere. That's another great balanced team there. And then with the Raiders, I mean, they've got nothing. They went from going, I believe they went 12-4, 11-5 2 years ago, and then they just fell off a cliff. And then, you know, lo and behold, they released guys like Mario Edwards, who was probably their second best pass rusher, probably the third best because Bruce Irvin, he's still on the team. Then Khalil Mack is gone, and you release Obi Melifonwu, and I know he wasn't a big deal. I don't know how good Garyon Conley is gonna be, but I liked him coming out of college. Who is Derek Carr really going to throw to? Michael Crabtree's not there anymore. You got who they got? Cordero Patterson there, or is Cordero on the Patriots now? He's on the Patriots now. But still, the Raiders aren't looking good. Marshawn Lynch is a shell of himself. He's just not going to be the same Marshawn Lynch with the Seahawks. It's just not going to happen as much as they hope for it to happen. So the Raiders aren't looking good right now whatsoever. So you guys let me know what you guys think in the comment section below as far as the predictions go. Oh, by the way, the Rams, I had them demolishing the Raiders 34-16. Take the Los Angeles Rams -4. So that is it for my predictions. I apologize if this is a long video, but this may be the case every week because I talk a lot. You guys know that. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Leave your predictions in the comment section below. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button. And if you guys are new here, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. And remember to subscribe to my other channel down in the description below. And my Twitch as well. So with all that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.